On November 9th, 2023, the SAG-AFTRA strike ended. Throughout the 118 days, there was one role that was in contention: background actors. Why? First, let's see how SAG-AFTRA defines the role of background acting. They say the role is essential in creating the entire tone, mood, and atmosphere of any feature film or television scene. But how? This description does not explicitly say what background actors do. To find that information, we can turn to trade publications like Backstage. As Mink highlights in her article, a background actor, or an extra, is a non-speaking role. If they're hired to have a speaking role, their title changes. In a self-published article, Benson explains the new titles of co-star or supporting actor must be reached by any aspiring actor if they want to start a professional career in acting. In Templeton's book, Acting Lions, she teaches that actors should not list background work unless you're starting out. She goes on to say to limit your extra work so you will not be considered a background performer. Once you start to accumulate legitimate credits, delete the extra work from your resume. These perspectives suggest there's a hierarchy of acting, and background actors are at the bottom. Not only that, but it's encouraged for actors to remove themselves from that position as soon as they can if they want to be a, quote, real actor. But what do background actors themselves think of the roles? On Real Rundown, Alicia writes that background acting only serves two purposes: gain the experience of being on set and to put some extra cash in their pockets. From Van Glad at Business Insider, she highlights that not everyone there is to be a famous actor. Some do it to enjoy the hustle and bustle of a set. And from Mercy's article in the Daily Beast, he suggests it's highly incentivized for background actors to be involved in the union once they have enough experience. The benefits include compensated pay, better work conditions, health coverage. Mercy explains that in order to be in the union, a background actor must complete 3 days of work. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. These days of work have to come from sets that have an imbalance of unionized workers. SAG-AFTRA has made it so that productions that they work with must have a certain number of unionized workers, and if they don't meet that threshold, they are required to add non-unionized workers to the mix to balance out the difference. It's here that background actors have to find themselves in order to unionize, and it's very difficult. According to Mercy, those opportunities can be few and far between, so the term background actor has different interpretations to the workers themselves. Lotson Havens, in their book Understanding Media Industries, uses the term circumscribed agency to describe why there is an eternal discrepancy. The idea is that individual workers like background actors have limited freedom in their craft, dictated by three forces: professional expectations, practices and norms, and cultural traditions. For example, background actors have the professional expectations to be on set on time. They also have practices and norms similar to lead actors, where they have to take direction, use blocking, staying in character, but they're limited from speaking during takes. However, it's this last force that differs among background actors. The cultural tradition of being an extra differs. For some, it's a chance to brag about meeting a celebrity and being on a film set. But for others who want to be a real actor, it's a vital role, but not one to brag about if you want to be a professional actor. Which brings us to the strike. Why was the role of background acting being talked about? Well, from Vox, Wilkinson reports how the union was concerned about the potential for rapidly developing AI to replace its members. On Allen's article for NPR, stories came out of extras having to be scanned in a room with cameras surrounding them. They were caught off guard because it happened on the day of the set. On Maddow's article for Variety, an extra working for The Flash further testified that if they declined to scan, they would be sent home without pay. Maddow further explains that these stories led the union chief negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland to make a statement warning background actors that studios plan to scan them once for their image and use it for future projects without their consent. This promptly led to the AMPTP to make an official post on their website clarifying that generative AI for background actors must only be used for the motion picture for which the background is employed. Although this addresses the concerns of scans being used in perpetuity, it does not explain what generative AI technology is. To see that, take a look at Flawless, a VFX company specializing in generative AI, presented by its co-founder, Scott Mann.
I'll show you a little clip of what Flawless does, a clip from one of my movies.
Now we're stuck on this stupid tower in the middle of nowhere. And I don't blame you, and now we're stuck on this stupid... Now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere.
I don't think there is going to be lost jobs. I think there's going to be job gains. So I actually think that as an industry, we are... Look, films are too expensive. They're not working, right? It's highly risky from an investment point of view as an industry. And it all comes down to the fact that we're still making films very similar for the last 100 years, the same way as we haven't really embraced new breakthrough technologies much.
Notice how he describes the film industry as a risky investment. Giardina, in her article for The Hollywood Reporter, says that Digital Domain CTO Hanno Basse says that generative AI allows actors to work without a helmet camera and can assist with other types of VFX work, as well as removing, quote, grunt work. On Allen's article, Andrew Susskind, an associate professor, states that studios could save a lot by, quote, not paying $180 a day, plus meals, plus costuming, end quote. Again, it's implied that using AI can save money by just using background actors once. From these perspectives, we can draw from Hesman Hall's theory of cultural industries, where companies are attempting to minimize risk and maximize profits. These VFX heads and studios see background acting as not important enough to maintain, but see the cost-cutting technology of generative AI as profit. Notice how these companies repeatedly say the technology provides job opportunities. It does, but for the VFX artists and other post-production artists. That's another set of crew members to provide compensation for. In essence, the money was just reallocated to a different sector. This is why, to background actors, AI dismantles that role. With this perspective, the background actors who took the role to see behind the scenes now have to turn to other roles to get in the industry. For the ones who want to take the role of background acting to advance to the next level, their position has never been harder. It topples the hierarchy. Despite these concerns, they kept on with the strike, making it the longest SAG-AFTRA strike in history. By the time of Wilkinson's second report on the strike, the economic strain left a considerable mark on the workers themselves, but it also affected the studios, which raises the question as to what the role of background acting means to the film industry. Is it an easy-to-access, outdated role that technology could replace, or is it essential enough to filter actors who want to climb up the ladder that the system itself created? Well, when the strike ended, SAG-AFTRA released a statement on November the 13th defining how background actors should be compensated, with the new term employment-based digital replicas for companies to use. Although these new protections prevent surprise body scans with clear consent, there's still ambiguity as to what the studios can decide with the usage of the digital replicas. On an X, formerly known as Twitter thread, Bateman, an AI advisor for the SAG-AFTRA negotiating committee, raised concerns that studios could work their way around consent by using small details to change, like hair, clothes, makeup. Even blocking can be changed by studios with generative AI, which means that, quote, there is not much agency on your part to control your character or performance, end quote. So does that mean that the role of background acting is doomed? Well, it depends. The strike was interesting because unlike the writer's strike, everyone naturally agrees that background actors play such a minuscule role in the film industry, and yet the union refuses to give that role up, and so do the people. Even when the technology is advanced enough for that role to go away, that small role means something in the film industry, to the workers, to the actors, to the professionals. I'm David Parra. Thank you for watching.